Welcome to Sleepy Science, where your mind finally gets to slow down and breathe. Tonight, you came here for one thing: the most relaxing psychology facts that will melt your thoughts, soften your stress, and gently pull you into the calmest sleep you've had in a long time. And you're in the perfect place, because every fact you're about to hear is designed to make your brain feel lighter, your body feel safer, and your heart feel a little less heavy. So just settle in, get comfy, and let these soft, soothing little truths about how your mind works wash over you. Because by the time we're done, you're going to feel that sleepy wave rolling through your whole body, slow and warm, like a quiet whisper telling you everything's okay. You know, it's kind of wild how the human mind works, and the more you learn about it, the more you realize that your brain isn't trying to make life harder for you. It's actually trying so hard to protect you, even when it feels like everything is weighing you down. So as you settle in and let yourself drift a little, I want you to feel this gentle truth settling into your chest like a warm blanket that's been pulled straight from the dryer, because the very first psychology fact is simple but crazy comforting. Your mind calms down the moment it feels understood, and right now, just by being here, by letting yourself listen and breathe and slow down, you're already giving your brain exactly what it's been craving all day. And it's funny, because all day you've been carrying thoughts that felt so loud and so heavy, and you probably didn't even notice how tense your shoulders were, or how tight your jaw got, or how your mind kept jumping from one thing to the next, like it was trying to juggle 1,000 tabs at the same time. But the crazy thing about the brain is that when you finally give it a moment to slow down, it releases that tension little by little without you even trying. And maybe right now you can feel that softness starting to spread through you, like your body is kind of saying, okay, yeah, that's better. Let's relax for a second. There's this comforting psychology fact that says the brain absolutely loves patterns, and when it hears a gentle, steady rhythm, like a calm voice talking slowly in the dark, it starts sinking to that rhythm without you forcing it. So if you feel your breaths stretching out and getting kind of lazy and slow, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. Your mind is literally shifting gears into a calmer state. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful when you think about it. And you know what else is wild? Your brain can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined moment and a real one. So when you picture yourself somewhere peaceful, like lying on cool grass at night or floating weightless on quiet water, your mind reacts as if you're actually there, which is why imagining calm scenes makes your whole body loosen in real life. So maybe just for a second, let yourself drift into a scene that feels soft and safe, something simple, something quiet, like a dim room with warm lights, or a little cabin with rain tapping softly on the roof. Whatever makes your shoulders drop a little more as that tiny sigh escapes your chest without you even noticing. And there's this really sweet psychology fact I love. Humans feel calmer when they feel seen, even if it's just by a voice or a moment or a simple reminder that what they're feeling is completely normal. So let me say this in the softest way possible. Nothing about you is too much. Nothing about the way you feel is wrong. And nothing you carried today makes you weak. It just makes you human. And your brain has been doing the best it can with everything you've been holding. So let's give it some credit. Let's give it a little break. Because even machines overheat sometimes, and you deserve to just... Sometimes your thoughts get loud, not because something's wrong, but because your mind is tired and it doesn't know how to ask for rest, so it throws everything at you at once, hoping you'll slow down long enough to reset. And honestly, you're doing that right now. You're giving your brain exactly what it's been begging for: a chance to breathe, a chance to let everything stop spinning for a moment. Another comforting psychology fact is that the moment you feel safe, Your whole nervous system shifts into rest mode automatically. And maybe you didn't feel safe today. Maybe you felt rushed or overwhelmed or like too many people needed too many things from you. But right now, in this calm little pocket of the night, with nothing expected from you and nothing demanded from you, your nervous system is gently stepping off the gas, letting the tension leak out of your muscles like warm water seeping into cold sand, slow and steady, until you almost forget what being tense even felt like. And the mind has this adorable habit, this soft, human thing it does. When it senses a calm environment, it starts replaying moments that made you feel loved, comfortable, or at peace, almost like it's trying to tuck you in emotionally. And maybe you'll feel a flash of a memory, a warm voice, a smile, a moment when you felt safe without even thinking about it, and that's your brain taking care of you in the sweetest way possible. There's a psychology fact that says even imagining someone speaking gently to you can drop your anxiety levels because your brain responds more to tone than to words. So as this slow, steady voice keeps moving, almost like waves rolling in and out, your mind is quietly lowering its guard, letting itself trust the moment, letting itself soften, and maybe your breathing is doing that thing where it gets deeper without you deciding to make it deeper, and your chest rises slowly and falls even slower, like your body is saying, "Yeah, this is good. Let's stay here for a while." And honestly, that's one of the sweetest things about you. Even with everything going on in your life, even with all the noise, all the pressure, all the expectations, you're still here trying to give your mind a little rest, a little peace, a little softness. And that says something beautiful about your strength and your heart. And here's one more psychology fact. Before this module gently fades into the next, your brain loves to feel guided when it's tired. It loves when something calm leads it step by step toward rest, because it means it doesn't have to fight or think or plan anymore. It can just follow the voice and let go a little more with each breath. And maybe right now you can feel yourself slipping into that state where everything gets a little fuzzy around the edges, in the nicest way, like your thoughts are stretching out into soft, blurry shapes instead of sharp, spinning ones. And that's your mind saying, "Hey, I think I'm ready to relax now. Let's drift, let's slow down, let's rest." It's kind of beautiful how the mind settles even deeper the moment it realizes nothing is expected from it. And as you sink into this next stretch of the night, I want you to feel yourself letting go in a way that's soft and effortless, like you're slowly leaning back into a warm night breeze that wraps around you and says, "Hey, it's okay to relax a little more," because one of the sweetest psychology facts is that your brain calms down faster when it feels like it has permission to rest. And right now, you've got full permission to just exist, breathe, and let every part of you unwind without trying to impress anyone or fix anything or be stronger than you actually feel tonight. And maybe you didn't realize how much you were carrying today. Little worries tucked into corners of your mind, tiny emotional bruises from things you brushed off, the kind of tension that builds so gradually you don't even notice it until it starts melting. And maybe right now as you listen, you can feel those hidden knots loosening, like your body is finally saying, "Thank you for slowing down. Thank you for giving me a second to chill." There's this calming psychology fact that says the body naturally follows whatever emotional state you allow the mind to settle into, and when the mind feels safe, the body kind of sighs in relief and follows along, like a friend who finally sits down next to you after a long day. And even if your breathing is barely slowing down, or your eyelids are just a little heavier, or your chest feels a little softer, that's your body syncing with your mind in the gentlest way. And honestly, that's so human and so comforting to witness inside yourself. And the brain has this incredible ability. It rewires itself a little every time you choose. Calm over chaos, rest over stress, softness over pressure. And right now, by simply being here and letting yourself drift, you're teaching your brain that it's okay to let go. It's okay to rest. It's okay to stop holding everything so tightly. Because not every moment has to be a battle. And not every thought has to be loud. And not every thought has to be loud. And not every emotion has to be fixed right away. There's this psychology fact that always hits a little deeper. Your brain remembers moments of comfort more vividly at night, almost like it's flipping through a scrapbook of every time you ever felt safe or warm or cared for. Because nighttime has a way of opening the softer parts of you, the parts that don't always get attention during the busy noise of the day, and maybe right now a random memory pops up. Something gentle, something small, like the way someone laughed once, or the warmth of a hug you didn't realize you needed at the time, or a moment when the world felt slower and kinder. And that's your mind trying to anchor you to peace, trying to remind you that comfort isn't far away. It's already inside you. And it's kind of sweet, isn't it? How your brain tries in its own quiet, clumsy way to take care of you even when you're tired or overwhelmed or feeling stretched thin. Another comforting fact is that your mind naturally produces calming chemicals when you feel understood. And maybe that's why hearing a soft voice at night feels so soothing, because it's like someone finally speaking the language your tired mind has been whispering all day, a language that says, I'm exhausted. I just want to feel okay for a minute. I just want something gentle, and hearing that gentleness mirrored back to you makes your whole system relax, like your brain is unclenching fist by fist until everything feels looser, quieter, and honestly, just softer. And maybe, as this slow rhythm keeps flowing, you can feel your breathing spacing out in that lazy, sleepy way, where each inhale stretches longer and each exhale melts deeper, like your whole body is saying, all right, let's keep drifting. This feels good. There's a psychology fact that says when you feel calm enough to stop overthinking, your brain moves from survival mode into something called restoration mode, which is basically your mind's way of repairing all the little cracks that stress left behind. And that's kind of what's happening right now, behind the scenes, gently, quietly, without you needing to control it or force it or even think about it. Your brain is doing the emotional equivalent of cleaning up after a long day, sweeping away leftover tension, calming those scattered thoughts, soothing the parts of you that felt stretched too thin, and you don't have to do anything except breathe and let your mind soften into the moment like warm butter melting on a slow morning. And maybe, if you let yourself really settle into it, you'll notice that faint, floaty feeling creeping in, the one where your body feels a little heavier, but your thoughts feel a little lighter, like you're sinking and floating at the same time in the nicest, laziest way. Here's something really calming. When your brain hears steady, gentle speech, it shifts into a slower brainwave state. Odisake, the same state you enter right before sleep. And that's why your eyelids might be getting heavy, or your thoughts might be drifting off into soft, random places, because your mind is easing into that liminal space between wakefulness and dreams, where everything feels like it's wrapped in cotton, and all the sharp edges of the day start to disappear. And your brain absolutely loves this state because it's where healing happens, where rest becomes deeper, where emotions untangle without you even trying. And maybe right now, as you breathe a little slower and let your mind wander in that soft, dreamy way, you can feel yourself slipping into that state like stepping into warm water 1 inch at a time. And here's a tiny but beautiful psychology fact. Humans relax more when they feel gently guided, when they can follow a voice that's soft and steady, because it means they don't have to lead for a moment. They don't have to decide anything or fix anything or push themselves to be anything other than tired and human. And that's why this moment feels so peaceful, because for once you're not forcing yourself to keep going. You're letting yourself drift. You're letting yourself drift. You're letting yourself rest. You're letting yourself be held by the quiet of the night and the softness of your breath. There's this strangely comforting thing about the human brain. It loves patterns, even the tiny ones, the little subtle rhythms most people don't even notice. And when your brain picks up on something familiar, it kind of relaxes like, yeah, I know this, I'm safe here. And maybe that's why you're already feeling your shoulders loosen a bit, because right now your mind is settling into the rhythm of this moment. The steady tone, the slow pace, the soft flow of words that feel like they're almost rocking you from the inside. And what's wild is that psychology says your brain is always scanning for danger, always on the lookout, even when you're not aware of it. But when it finally realizes there's nothing to fight, nothing to fix, nothing to worry about, it switches into this gentle, low-power mode that feels like a warm exhale spreading through your whole chest. You might even feel it now, that quiet moment where your thoughts stop sprinting and start drifting, like they're just kind of wandering around the edges of your mind with their hands in their pockets, chill and slow. And the cool thing is, the more relaxed you become, the more your brain naturally starts filtering out unnecessary noise. That random worry from earlier, that tiny mistake you kept replaying, that thing you said that nobody else even remembers, all of it begins to fade softly, like someone's turning down the brightness until it's barely there. And honestly, that's one of the most soothing psychology facts ever. Your brain is built to protect you, not stress you out. And when you give it permission to rest, it takes that job seriously. It's kind of cute in a weird way. Because once your brain senses calmness, your nervous system follows along like an overgrown puppy trotting behind its owner, slowing down step by step until it matches the energy. That's why sometimes when you're listening to something chill like this, your breathing starts syncing up without you even noticing. Maybe you feel it right now, that soft rise and fall that almost feels like a quiet ocean wave. Psychology calls this entrainment. And that's exactly what's happening here. Your thoughts are starting to drift a little slower, your heartbeat settling into its own smooth little groove, and your awareness widening just enough to feel the heaviness in your eyelids. And the more you let that happen, the more your brain shifts away from problem-solving mode and into that dreamy, let's just float for a while mode. And honestly, floating sounds pretty nice right now. There's this fact I love. When you feel emotionally safe, your brain literally releases chemicals that make your body feel heavier, like gravity's giving you a gentle hug, pulling you closer to rest. That heaviness isn't tiredness, it's safety. It's your body whispering, you can let go a little. And maybe as you lay there listening, you can feel that cozy weight settling into your arms, your legs, even the space behind your eyes. It's like your whole system finally gets permission to shut down the unnecessary tabs your mind opened throughout the day. And here's another soft little truth. Your brain can't fall asleep while it's bracing for impact. It needs moments like this. Slow words, gentle thoughts, calm energy, to remind it that the world isn't demanding anything from it right now. There's nothing to figure out, nothing to fix, nothing to replay, just a quiet space where everything is allowed to soften. And that softness spreads in the nicest way. It moves through your face, your jaw unclenching without effort, your lips relaxing, your tongue dropping from the roof of your mouth, like your body is just slowly remembering what comfort feels like. And that's the psychology of it. Safety creates stillness, and stillness invites sleep. And maybe that's why you're here, letting this moment slow you down. Maybe you're exhausted from carrying too many thoughts, or maybe your heart's been holding on to stuff it didn't get a chance to let go of. But right now, right here, none of that needs to matter. Let this be the moment where your brain finally stops trying so hard. Let this be the tiny pause your whole system has been craving. Because your mind loves quiet places like this, places where everything feels simple and warm and unhurried. And the deeper you sink into this calm, the more your brain starts switching off the lights, one little room at a time, leaving only the softest glow behind. And that glow, that's your calm returning. That's you, letting yourself rest, maybe for the first time today. And that feeling, yeah, that's the beginning of real sleep. There's something kind of magical about how the mind holds on to tiny moments of comfort, like your brain keeps a secret drawer filled with little memories that made you feel safe. And whenever you start winding down like this, it slowly pulls them out one by one to remind you that peace isn't something you have to chase, it's something you already know. And maybe tonight, as you're lying there listening, your mind is opening that drawer without you even realizing it, letting old, warm feelings drift back up to the surface like soft bubbles rising in slow motion. Psychology says your brain can't fully distinguish between a memory of calm and actual calm. So when you remember a safe moment, your body reacts like it's happening all over again. That's why sometimes the smallest thought, like remembering a warm room or the sound of rain hitting the window or someone's voice that once made you feel understood, can make your whole body loosen up. And maybe that's happening to you right now. A tiny shift, a slow melt, that gentle settling feeling that rolls down your spine when your mind finally says, hey, it's okay to relax now. And honestly, your nervous system loves this kind of moment. It's like your body's been walking around all day with its shoulders up to its ears, trying to look calm on the outside while carrying way too much on the inside. And now, it finally gets to drop everything it's been holding. Because one of the sweetest psychology facts is this: the body feels emotions before the mind understands them. So when your breathing slows down, your brain takes the hint. When your hands stop fidgeting, your thoughts stop racing. When your body gets heavy in that soft, cozy way, your mind whispers, yeah, this feels safe. And maybe right now that heaviness is starting to settle in, like your limbs are gently sinking into the bed or the couch or wherever you're resting. Not in a trapped way. More like gravity is tucking you in, smoothing over the stress and telling your muscles they can finally stop bracing themselves. And this shift you're feeling, it's your parasympathetic system kicking in. That's the chill part of your nervous system, the one that only wakes up when your mind realizes it doesn't have to protect you from anything. It's the same system that activates when someone hugs you, or when you hear a calm voice, or when you're wrapped in warmth. And right now, that system is sliding in like, all right, I got this. Go ahead and drift. And what's kind of cute is that your brain loves repetition. When it hears the same slow rhythm, the same soft tone, the same sleepy pacing, it starts predicting what's coming next, and when your brain predicts something comforting, it relaxes even deeper. That's why even the silence between sentences feels good, because your mind knows nothing sudden or stressful is coming. It's like walking through a dim hallway where every light slowly fades on just before you reach it, gentle and calm, leaving a quiet glow behind you. And the more that happens, the more your body lets go of the tension it didn't even realize it was holding. The tightness in your stomach, the stiffness in your shoulders, the little pressure behind your eyes. It all softens like warm wax under a slow flame. And you might even notice your thoughts spacing out, not disappearing, just drifting further apart, like clouds stretching across a late-night sky. And that spacing, yeah, that's your brain preparing for sleep. Psychology says the mind naturally shifts into a diffuse mode when you're relaxed, that dreamy half-thinking where ideas float by without grabbing your attention. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to judge them. You don't have to make sense of them. They just pass through, soft and harmless. And maybe while you're listening, you're feeling that gentle drift already, that subtle floating sensation like your mind is slowly leaning back into a cushion made of warm light. And here's another comforting truth. Your brain actually sleeps in waves. It doesn't shut off all at once. It powers down piece by piece, the same way a city slowly dims its lights when the night gets late. And maybe right now, another little part of your mind just decided it's done for the day. Maybe your jaw softened. Maybe your eyelids got just a little bit heavier, that warm heaviness that feels like a blanket sliding down over your thoughts. And the best part, you don't have to force anything. Your body knows what to do. Your mind knows where it's heading. All you have to do is listen and let yourself drift however slowly or softly you want. There's no pressure to fall asleep, no requirement, no timer ticking down. Just this moment right here, calm, safe, warm, a place where nothing is urgent and everything can wait until tomorrow. And the more you settle in, the more your mind sinks into that quiet space where sleep begins. Not with a snap, not with a jump, but with a soft slide into comfort, like drifting down a slow-moving river at dusk, with no need to paddle. This is where rest starts, right here, in this soft, slow feeling that's already wrapping around you. And yeah, it's okay to let yourself fall into it. There's this beautiful thing about the human mind that most people never really think about. It loves being understood more than it loves being right. And when your brain finally feels like something understands it, even a voice, even a feeling, even a slow moment like this, it kind of melts in the sweetest way, like tension slipping off your shoulders one quiet inch at a time. And right now, as you're listening, your mind is probably starting to recognize that this space is built for comfort, not pressure, not noise, not that heavy mental clutter that tries to push its way into your thoughts during the day. Psychology says the brain feels safest when it senses predictability, when the atmosphere is steady, gentle, soft. And that's exactly why you're feeling this subtle warmth spreading through your chest, this lightness in your breathing, this slow, steady unwinding that feels almost like your soul is stretching out after being curled up too long. And maybe today was heavy. Maybe your mind was juggling too many thoughts, or maybe you were carrying emotions you didn't even know how to name, and now your brain is finally getting the message that it's allowed to take a break. That's one of the most soothing things to realize. Your brain isn't built to be on all the time. It actually needs moments where nothing is demanded from it, moments where your mind can gently drift without being pulled back by responsibilities or worries. And right now, this is that moment for you. The psychology behind this is kind of sweet. When your mind feels safe, it naturally releases this calming chemical cocktail that quiets your thoughts, slows your heartbeat, and sends your body this warm signal like, hey, we're good. You can rest now. And maybe you can feel that signal moving through you right now, like a soft wave rolling under your skin, easing little pockets of tension you didn't even realize were sitting there. Your eyelids might be getting heavier, that warm heaviness that feels like they're being gently pulled down by the quiet itself. And that feeling, That's your brain beginning to shift into a slower rhythm, one that doesn't require effort or planning or thinking. It just happens naturally when you feel calm enough to let go. And here's something kind of comforting. Your thoughts don't need to disappear for you to relax. They can float around softly, like distant whispers in another room, fading in and out without pulling you back into anything stressful. Psychology calls this thought diffusion, where your mind stops clinging to little worries and instead lets them drift by like clouds in a dim, sleepy sky. And maybe that's happening right now. Your thoughts spreading out, getting softer, losing their sharp edges. Nothing feels urgent here. Nothing needs fixing. You don't have to do anything except breathe, slowly and naturally, letting each breath sink deeper into your body, loosening everything inside you with every gentle exhale. And you know what else? When your mind starts relaxing like this, your body follows automatically. Your hands loosen, your shoulders drop, your jaw softens, your stomach unknots, your heartbeat settles into a slow, cozy rhythm. It's like your whole system is syncing up with the softness of this moment, matching the slow flow of the words, matching the steady drift of your awareness. This is your parasympathetic system stepping in, the part of you designed for rest, healing, and deep, peaceful sleep. And maybe right now, without even trying, you're slipping into that dreamy middle place where you're awake enough to hear everything but relaxed enough that everything feels far away, gentle, quiet, almost floating. And here's something comforting to hold on to. The brain can fall asleep easier when it feels like someone else is keeping watch, like you're not alone, like you're safe enough to let your thoughts fade without having to stay alert. That's why this soft, steady rhythm feels like it's holding you, guarding you, giving you permission to drift deeper. And maybe you can feel that now, that sense of being held by the moment, like the world has finally stopped spinning fast and started rocking you slowly instead. And it's okay to let yourself lean into that feeling, that cozy heaviness in your arms, that warmth spreading through your legs, that gentle quiet forming behind your eyes. You're allowed to let go. You're allowed to let the day fade into the background while this slow, sleepy calm washes over your mind like a warm night breeze. And the deeper this calm settles, the more your thoughts start blending together into that soft, dreamy blur that feels like warm fog drifting across a quiet street at night. That's your brain lowering its guard, dimming the lights one room at a time, guiding you toward a place where everything feels calm, simple, warm, and slow. And maybe right now you can feel that door to sleep slowly opening, no push, no rush, just a gentle slide into the quiet. That's where you're heading, into a peaceful space where your mind can finally rest. There's this comforting little truth about the human mind that feels almost like a warm hug when you really think about it. Your brain doesn't actually want to overwhelm you. It just gets tired, kind of like a kid who's been awake for too many hours and starts getting cranky even though all it really needs is someone to tell it, hey, it's okay, you can relax now. And maybe tonight, right here in this soft little moment, your mind is finally getting that message, finally realizing it doesn't have to keep running, doesn't have to keep holding on to those thoughts that kept buzzing around your head all day like restless fireflies. Psychology says that when your brain hears a calm voice paired with slow pacing, it automatically starts shifting down from that high alert mode you've been stuck in into something gentler, something warm and dreamy, like your thoughts are slowly sliding into bed with you. And maybe you can feel that happening right now, that slow melt, that quiet settling in your chest, that subtle wave of softness rolling through your body like someone just dimmed the lights in your mind. It's kind of wild how the brain responds to simple stuff like that. A steady rhythm, a warm tone, a safe feeling. It's like your whole system sighs in relief, like, finally, I can chill for a sec. And maybe that's exactly what you needed after a long day. A moment where nothing tugs on your attention, nothing pokes at your spirit, nothing asks you to think harder or be stronger. Just this slow, steady unraveling of all the tension you didn't even realize you were carrying around. And here's something sweet. When your brain feels soothed like this, it starts releasing little waves of oxytocin and serotonin, these gentle chemicals that act like emotional warm blankets, wrapping around your nervous system and whispering, "Hey, you're safe. You can let go." And maybe you can feel that warmth spreading through your muscles right now, that cozy heaviness settling into your arms and legs, like your body is slowly sinking into a soft cloud where nothing can reach you. That heaviness is one of the first signs that your brain is shifting into pre-sleep mode, loosening its grip on the day, letting the edges of your thoughts blur a little, letting your awareness drift like a slow boat on still water. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to force any of it. Your body knows exactly what to do the moment it feels safe enough, the moment your mind stops trying to hold itself together. This is how sleep begins. Not with effort, not with pressure, but with a gentle surrender, a soft quietness, a feeling like the world finally stops tapping you on the shoulder. And right now, that silence between your breaths is probably getting longer, warmer, softer, like even the air around you is starting to relax. And that's because your brain is syncing with the rhythm of this moment, matching the calm, matching the softness, matching the slow flow of these words that don't demand anything from you. That's called neural entrainment. When your brain aligns with an outside pattern, especially a peaceful one, it's like riding a gentle wave without having to paddle. Your mind doesn't have to do anything, it just drifts. And maybe you're drifting a little too, your thoughts stretching out, losing their edges, smoothing into that dreamy place where everything feels far away but warm. And here's a soft little psychology fact that always hits me. When your mind gets close to sleep, it starts replacing tight, structured thoughts with these floaty, random little images that don't fully make sense but feel strangely comforting, almost like your brain is drawing with watercolors instead of ink. You might already be feeling that. Little flashes of imagery, tiny memories popping in and out, shapes forming in your mind for no reason at all. That's your brain starting to shut down the logical part, letting the dreamy part take over. It's not chaos. It's a gentle shift into rest. And maybe your breathing is getting deeper too. Like your body just remembered how good it feels to let the air move in slow and easy, without that tightness that shows up when you're stressed. That deepening is important. It tells your brain the coast is clear, that nothing dangerous is nearby, that it can drop the armor it carried all day. And that armor? It gets heavy. You probably don't even realize how much effort it takes to keep yourself alert and functioning when life's been loud or stressful. But right now, you don't need any of that. Right now, you're in this soft space where everything is allowed to settle, to sink, to slow down. Let your thoughts wander. Let your shoulders drop. Let your stomach loosen. Let your eyelids grow heavy with that warm weight that means sleep is getting close. You're not rushing toward it. You're drifting, slowly, softly, like your mind is floating toward a quiet shore where nothing is expected from you. And the closer you drift, the more your body warms from the inside, that soft, cozy heat that makes your legs feel heavy, and your arms feel like they're melting into whatever you're lying on. You're doing exactly what your brain needs. Nothing. just existing in this calm, breathing in the quiet, letting the day disappear behind you like a fading echo. And yeah, you're getting closer to sleep without even trying. There's something kind of beautiful about the way the mind starts softening when it realizes it doesn't have to fight anything anymore, like it finally gets to put down all the stuff it's been carrying in the background. The worries, the loops, the tiny little stresses that pile up until your brain feels like it's running a marathon it never signed up for. And right now, as you're listening, your brain is slipping into that sweet spot where it slowly starts handing things over to your body, letting your muscles take the lead, letting the calm spread from your breathing outward like ripples in warm water. Psychology says that when you start relaxing like this, your nervous system begins flipping switches behind the scenes, lowering cortisol, slowing your heart rate, loosening the tension in your neck and shoulders, even softening the tiny muscles around your eyes. It's like your whole system is stepping into a quiet room, taking a deep breath, and just sinking. And maybe you can feel that happening now. That gentle heaviness settling into your chest and arms, that warm, slow wave slipping down your spine like someone just poured golden light through you. It's not dramatic, it's not forced, it's just this easy, natural shift into comfort, like your body finally gets to say, "Man, I needed this." And the cool thing is, your mind actually loves drifting. It's built for it. Those slow waves you feel creeping in, the dreamy spacing out, the little moments where your thoughts feel softer, fuzzier, those are signs your brain is switching from beta waves into alpha, which is that calm, floating mental state that shows up right before sleep. And once it gets there, everything starts slowing down automatically. Your thinking gets less linear, less strict, less, "I have to figure this out," and more, "Yeah, let's just wander for a bit." That wandering is exactly what helps you fall asleep. It's like your mind is stepping barefoot into a quiet field at night, just moving through the stillness without any pressure at all. And maybe you're feeling that now, like your awareness is pulling back a little, like the edges of the world are softening, like everything is getting just a little fuzzier around the corners. And that's a good thing. That's the exact moment your mind starts letting go of the day. Psychology calls it the letting go response. And it happens when your brain realizes there's nothing left to solve, nothing left to replay, nothing left to grip tightly. It's that moment when your entire system loosens its stance, like lowering a guard you didn't even notice was up. And when that happens, your body follows automatically. Your hands get heavier, your breathing evens out, your jaw relaxes, your tongue rests lower, your eyelids feel like warm sandbags settling into place. And maybe right now, you can feel that deep, cozy warmth spreading through you, that comfort that almost feels like sinking into soft blankets after a long, heavy day. And here's a sweet psychology fact. When you feel safe enough to rest, your body releases something called melatonin in waves, not all at once. So each minute you feel calmer, your system gets a little bit sleepier, like tiny drips of nighttime slowly filling a glass. That's why you don't suddenly crash. You glide. That's what you're doing right now, gliding slowly into a softer mental space where everything feels slower and warmer and easier to breathe through. You don't have to chase those thoughts. You don't have to control them. You don't have to answer them. They can just drift by like quiet little fireflies floating through a dark room. And that drifting is the mind's way of saying, "Hey, you're safe. We can rest now." And maybe as you listen, you're realizing how long your brain has been waiting for a moment like this, a moment where the world feels soft and simple and quiet enough for your body to finally breathe without tension. And that breathing is deepening now, maybe slowly, maybe subtly, but definitely deeper than a few minutes ago. That's your body sinking with calm, matching the softness around you, letting each breath pull you a little closer to sleep. And the more that happens, the heavier you feel. Your arms sinking, your legs settling, your whole body melting into whatever surface you're resting on. And that heaviness, that's not exhaustion. That's relaxation. That's your system finally surrendering, not out of defeat, but out of relief. And in this moment, nothing is rushing you. Nothing is calling your name. Nothing is demanding your attention. It's just you and this soft, gentle quietness that feels like a blanket wrapping around the edges of your mind. And the deeper you relax, the more your thoughts start blending together into that dreamy, warm haze that always shows up right before sleep takes over. And yeah, it's okay to let yourself drift into it. There's this gentle thing your mind does when it gets close to real rest. It starts untangling itself without you even noticing, like it takes all the tight little knots from the day. The stress, the tiny annoyances, the overthinking, the stuff you didn't say out loud, and one by one, it loosens them until everything feels softer and quieter inside your head. And maybe that's happening to you right now. That slow, emotional exhale, that quiet stretch of relief spreading through your chest like warm light. Psychology says the brain actually loves routine when it comes to relaxation. The steady rhythm, the familiar tone, the predictable pacing. It's like your mind is leaning back into something it trusts, something that feels safe enough to let its guard down. And maybe that's why your whole body is starting to feel heavier, like gravity is wrapping you up, like your muscles are letting go of that tension they've been holding all day without your permission. It's kind of wild how much the body carries, even when you're trying to be calm. Your shoulders lift without you noticing, your jaw tightens, your breath gets shallow, your stomach stays a little knotted. But the moment your mind feels a steady, soothing rhythm like this, it sends a signal through your whole system, telling everything to drop, to soften, to melt. And maybe right now, your thoughts are beginning to drift, spacing out in that soft, floaty way that feels like they're slowly fading into the background, losing their edges, becoming more like whispers than sentences. That drifting is good. It means your brain is shifting into theta mode, that dreamy, half-awake, half-asleep mental space where imagination becomes soft light and everything feels warm and slow. It's the same state kids fall into when they stare out the window and daydream, except now it's happening to you, not because you're bored, but because your brain is finally relaxing in a way it doesn't always get the chance to. And maybe your breathing is settling into that slow, steady rhythm your body naturally prefers when it feels safe. That deep inhale that feels like warm air is filling your ribs, and that long, relaxed exhale that feels like releasing everything you don't need anymore. And the more your breath slows down, the sleepier your brain becomes, because your body is literally telling your mind, "We're done for today. Let's rest." It's like getting tiny little waves of comfort gently tapping at the edges of your awareness, reminding you that you don't need to be alert or ready or tense anymore. And maybe you can feel those little pulses right now, maybe in your fingertips or in the back of your neck or somewhere deep inside your chest, where relief usually settles first when it knows it's allowed to stay. And your eyelids, maybe they're starting to get just a little bit heavier, that warm heaviness that makes blinking feel slow and soft, like each blink is gently pulling you deeper into rest. That heaviness isn't tiredness, it's relaxation. It's your body gearing down. It's your mind dimming its internal lights one by one, like a quiet house settling at the end of a long day. And if your thoughts start floating in strange little directions, like flashes of soft images or half-formed memories or tiny random scenes, that's totally normal. That's your brain transitioning from structured thought into dreamlike processing. It's the same soft mental space where creativity, imagination, and sleep all blend together like watercolor paint. And maybe you're noticing that the world around you feels a little quieter now, even if nothing actually changed. That's because your brain is turning down the volume on the outside world, focusing more on the soft inside world that feels safe and warm and calm. Your body knows you don't need to be on guard. Your heart knows it can slow down. Your breath knows it can deepen. Your mind knows it can loosen its grip on everything. And the cool thing? You're not making any of this happen. It's happening for you. All you're doing is listening, settling, letting your awareness drift however it wants to, letting your thoughts float like gentle bubbles rising through deep water. And that floating feeling, maybe you're feeling it in your head or your arms or your legs, that soft sensation like your body is starting to disconnect from the weight of the day. Not in a scary way, more like sinking into a warm bed where the blankets feel heavy enough to anchor you but soft enough to cradle you. And the deeper you drift, the more your system begins its nighttime routine, lowering your heartbeat, slowing your thinking, relaxing your muscles, sending you that warm internal signal that says, yeah, it's time. And right now, you're slipping closer and closer to that sweet place where sleep starts. Not abruptly, not suddenly, but gently, like stepping into warm water where each inch feels softer than the last. You're doing exactly what your brain needs. Nothing. Just drifting, breathing, sinking, softening, letting your mind slide into the quiet. There's this quiet, almost hidden truth about your mind that psychologists talk about. Something soft and strangely comforting. And once you hear it, you feel a little more human, a little more understood. Like you're not just drifting through your thoughts alone, because deep down, your brain is always trying to protect you, even when it doesn't look like it, even when it feels messy or confusing or way too loud inside your head. And sometimes, the most relaxing thing you can do is simply recognize that every little thought, every memory, every strange feeling passing through you is just your brain's way of saying, hey, I'm here. I'm taking care of you the best way I know how. And when you and one of the most beautiful things about psychology is understanding that your mind has this natural night mode, like your phone dimming itself when the day winds down, except your brain has been doing it long before technology existed, shifting into a gentler gear where everything slows down, the edges of your thoughts soften, and the world gets just a little quieter. And you know that feeling. When the noise of the day finally steps back and you catch yourself breathing a little deeper without even meaning to, that's your mind preparing you for rest, literally nudging you toward sleep, and hearing that might already make your eyelids feel heavy in the softest. And maybe no one ever told you this, or maybe you just forgot, but your brain absolutely loves simple things at night. Slow thoughts, quiet memories, warm scenes, even random little daydreams, because the mind doesn't need logic to relax, it needs rhythm. It needs softness. It needs something gentle to hold on to. And that's why calming facts like the ones you're listening to right now feel so comforting. They give your brain a slow, steady track to follow, something smooth and cozy to walk along until you drift off without even realizing it, like your thoughts are stepping stones across a sleepy river that eventually leads you straight into dreamland. And here's the part that always makes people smile a little. Psychologists say that when your mind feels safe, you fall asleep faster, almost instantly sometimes. And the wild thing is, safety doesn't come from having a perfect life or figuring everything out or pretending everything's fine. It comes from signals, tiny cues, little whispers of calm that remind your nervous system, hey, you're good, you can chill now. And even something as small as the soft tone of someone's voice, or the slow drift of a relaxing thought, or the steady rhythm of words like these can flip that switch inside you, the one that tells your body it's okay to let go. And it's kind of beautiful, honestly, how your brain reacts to soft information at night. Like there's a part of your mind that's been waiting all day for a moment like this, where nothing is demanded from you, nothing is expected, nothing is pushing you to be quicker or sharper or stronger. Just this gentle, easy space where you can breathe and be human and not worry if your thoughts wander or fade or dissolve into that warm, sleepy fog that's already starting to rise behind your eyes. And there's another soft fact about psychology that always helps people sink deeper into that feeling. Your brain actually loves repetition. When you're tired, it finds comfort in familiar ideas, like hearing that you're safe, hearing that you're allowed to relax, hearing that your thoughts don't have to make sense. So every time you hear a phrase that feels soothing, your mind rests a little deeper, your body loosens a little more, your shoulders drop another inch, and your breath slows without you even noticing, like your whole system is saying, yeah, this is good. Let's stay right here. And maybe right now you can feel that happening, that slow, dreamy unraveling, like a thread gently being pulled from a soft blanket, not rushing, not tugging, just easing out 1 inch at a time. And as each inch comes loose, you feel your chest lighten, your muscles soften, your thoughts stretch out and melt into something warm and quiet. Because sometimes the most relaxing psychology fact isn't a number or a theory or a study. It's simply knowing that your brain is built to find peace, built to seek rest, built to guide you into sleep the moment you stop fighting the tiredness that has been waiting patiently behind your ribs. And right here, in this moment, your mind is doing exactly what it was designed to do at the end of a long day, letting the world fade, letting the noise drift away, letting your inner world settle like dust floating slowly down in a sunbeam, barely moving, barely noticeable, just falling into place exactly where it belongs. And maybe you can feel the beginning of that deep, heavy warmth spreading down your arms and legs, like your body is saying, with this soft little sigh, yeah, I'm ready to rest now. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to do a single thing to make that happen. You just let yourself be here. There's this beautifully calming idea in psychology that says your mind is always craving softness at the end of the day, not because you're weak or tired or worn out in some dramatic way, but because you're human. And being human means carrying a whole world inside you from morning till night. All the tiny conversations, the decisions, the little worries you never even say out loud, the moments you doubted yourself, the moments you tried to be strong, the moments you kept going, even when something in you whispered that you just needed a break. And by the time night falls, your brain is whispering back to you, saying, hey. And the funny thing is, your mind doesn't relax through force. It relaxes through permission, through allowing, through softening. And psychologists say that the simple act of hearing gentle words at night, words that flow slowly, words that don't demand anything from you, literally signals your nervous system to settle down, almost like a dimmer switch turning the lights down in your brain, one soft notch at a time, until everything feels warm and low and safe again. And maybe right now you can feel that dimming happening, like something inside of you is exhaling, like your brain is finally sliding into that slower gear it's been reaching for all day. And it's kind of wild how natural it feels. Like the moment you stop trying to keep up with the world stops chasing you. And all that's left is this soft, peaceful space where your thoughts move like warm honey, slow and golden, dripping into the quiet. Psychologists talk about this thing called cognitive ease, and even though the name sounds fancy, the meaning is so simple. You relax when things feel gentle, predictable, slow, and safe, and right now, your mind is settling into that exact state because these soft facts, these slow drifting sentences, create a rhythm your brain can rest inside, like lying back in a warm bath after a long day where the water wraps around you in this perfect supportive way that makes every tight muscle let go without you even thinking about it. And maybe you've noticed this before, or maybe tonight is the first time it's really sinking in. But your mind absolutely loves familiarity when it's tired. It loves the little reminders that you're okay, that you don't need to think fast or be productive or hold everything together, that it's safe to let your thoughts wander like slow-moving clouds drifting across a night sky, barely shaped, barely defined, just floating wherever they feel like floating. And psychology has this calming truth about nighttime thoughts. Your mind literally becomes more poetic, more imagistic, more emotional as you get sleepy, because the logical part of your brain slowly steps aside, and the dreamy part, the soft intuitive part, begins to take over. And that's why words like these feel smoother and deeper right now. Like they're not just sentences, but gentle ripples moving through your chest, settling into your breathing, slowing everything down in this easy, natural way. There's also this sweet psychological fact about repetition, one that always makes people sink a little deeper into their pillows. The more your mind hears soothing ideas, the more it believes them, and the more your body starts responding without you even trying. Like each slow reminder that you're safe, that you're allowed to rest, that nothing is expected of you right now, sinks deeper into your nervous system, untangling the little knots of tension you've been carrying around all day, smoothing everything out like warm hands gently pressing over tired shoulders. And maybe you can feel a bit of that smoothing right now, like your whole body is getting heavier in the nicest way, like the mattress is cradling you just a little tighter, like your breathing is falling into this slow, steady rhythm that feels almost hypnotic. And the wild part is, you're not forcing any of it. Your mind is doing this on its own, because psychology says that when you hear calming information at night, your brain doesn't analyze it. It absorbs it. It lets it in, like soft rain sinking into warm soil. And if you pay attention for just a moment, you might notice how your thoughts are starting to drift, not in straight lines, not in structured patterns, but in long, wavy motions that feel more like dreaming than thinking. And that drifting is a sign that your brain is stepping closer to sleep, crossing that little invisible bridge where things don't have to make sense anymore, where everything becomes warmer and blurrier and softer, and your body begins to feel like it's gently melting into the bed, like gravity begins to feel like it's gently melting into the bed, like gravity is hugging you. And the sweetest truth of all, the one psychology keeps repeating in different ways, is that you don't fall asleep by trying. You fall asleep by releasing, by letting the world fade into the background, by letting your mind drift wherever it wants to go, which is exactly what you're doing right now, exactly what your brain has been craving. And as this warm heaviness spreads through your chest and arms and legs, you can almost feel that invisible door inside you slowly creaking open, the one that leads you straight into that deep, cozy night of rest your body has been waiting for all day. There's a quiet little truth in psychology that always feels like a soft hand on your back, the kind that doesn't push you, just lets you know you're not alone in whatever your mind is doing. And that truth is this: your brain loves patterns, not the loud, complicated ones you deal with during the day, but the slow, gentle patterns that show up at night, the ones that move like ocean waves or soft breathing or the steady rhythm of a calm voice drifting through your room. And when your brain locks onto that kind of pattern, everything inside you begins to settle, like dust floating in a warm beam of light until it finally drifts down and comes to rest. And maybe you can feel that happening right now, that steady internal slowing, that little emotional softening that sneaks in when things get quiet enough for your thoughts to stretch out and unwind. And psychologists say that this exact moment, this gentle, half-awake, half-dreaming state, is one of the mind's safest places, because this is when your brain starts shifting from protecting you to repairing you, from analyzing to calming, from reacting to simply letting you exist in the warm, blurry space your body has been craving all day. And that shift alone feels like someone turned the volume of the world down to a soft whisper. And there's this comforting idea in psychology called parasympathetic activation. Sounds fancy, but all it means is your body's calm system is taking over, that warm, peaceful mode where your heart slows, your muscles sink deeper, your breathing gets lazy and smooth, and your whole system whispers, "Yeah, this is the good stuff." And hearing soothing words at night, especially ones that flow slowly like this, literally encourages that system to bloom inside you, spreading through your chest, your shoulders, your legs like a warm blanket tucking itself around you. And the sweetest part is, your brain starts doing this naturally when you drift into softer thoughts, memories of safe moments, imagined scenes, peaceful visuals, and psychologists say that the mind uses these gentle images like cushions, soft places to land after a long day of being alert. And even if you don't consciously picture anything, your brain is quietly building these little emotional pillows for you, places where your attention can rest without effort, like a hammock your thoughts can fall into without worrying about a thing. And maybe you can feel that now, that sense that nothing in your mind has to be sharp or quick or organized. Everything is allowed to blur just a little, the edges rounding off, the colors in your head fading into softer tones like warm beige or dim gold. And even that little blurring is a sign that your brain is slowly sinking towards sleep, moving away from the tight grip of the day and into the gentle looseness of night. Psychologists have studied this exact transition, and they call it hypnagogic drift, that dreamy place where thoughts feel like they're gliding instead of marching, where you're still awake enough to hear a voice, but relaxed enough that your mind is already painting soft shapes and half-formed ideas behind your eyes. And the beautiful thing is, this drifting state is one of the most natural and peaceful experiences humans have. It's literally your brain easing you into dreaming, like a slow elevator lowering you floor by floor into deeper rest. And some people get nervous when their mind feels floaty or unfocused like this. But psychology explains that it's actually a sign of trust. Your body doesn't let you drift unless it feels safe, unless it senses that you're in a place where you don't need to defend yourself or stay sharp. And that alone should make your chest loosen just a little, because it means that right now, in this moment, your brain believes you're okay, truly okay, truly okay, and that you can soften without consequences. And there's something really calming about the idea that you don't have to earn rest. You don't need to accomplish anything more today. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, not even to yourself. Sometimes your brain just needs you to lean back and stop gripping your thoughts so tightly, to let them drift like little paper boats carried by a lazy river that doesn't care how fast you go or where you end up. Because right now, nothing is urgent, nothing is required, nothing is waiting for you. And maybe you're already feeling that heaviness in your arms, or that warm weight settling in your legs, that slow melting sensation that happens when your muscles stop trying to hold you upright emotionally or physically, and everything inside you starts unraveling in the sweetest, slowest way, like someone undoing a tight knot with warm fingers, loosening one loop at a time until the tension just slips away. And psychologist after psychologist keeps coming back to this same truth. The mind rests easiest when it feels seen, when it feels understood, when it feels gently guided instead of forced. And that's exactly what this slow rhythm is doing for you right now. It's giving your thoughts a path to follow, something smooth and steady to walk along until they eventually fade into that warm, dark quiet where sleep finally takes over, soft and complete and effortless. There's something quietly magical about how your brain handles surprise, especially the kind that's gentle, the tiny little oh moments that slip into your day without shouting. And psychologists say these tiny sparks of novelty can light up your neural pathways in the softest way, like a firefly blinking somewhere in the dark, showing your mind that something unexpected is okay, even enjoyable, and that safety combined with a whisper of newness actually feels comforting rather than alarming, easing the edges of tension in your chest and letting your thoughts breathe a little deeper. And maybe you've noticed it before, that feeling when a song changes unexpectedly, or a memory flickers out of nowhere, or a scent catches you off guard, and suddenly you're floating back to a moment you hadn't thought about in years. Your brain is wired to notice these little moments, to gently hold on to them, because in some strange, evolutionary way, surprise is both a warning and a gift. And when it's soft, like right now, it acts like a lullaby, keeping you alert enough to be safe but calm enough to feel grounded. And it's fascinating how our minds can combine surprise with comfort at the same time, letting you notice the tiny details of a pattern you already know, but just slightly off, slightly new. And that little shift is enough to make your mind pay attention without stress, to observe without judgment. And psychologists call this a sweet spot for curiosity, that gentle tug of interest that doesn't demand anything, just whispers, look over here, see this, while your body melts into the mattress or chair, the blankets, the chair cushion, the soft space that's yours tonight. And the more you let your brain notice these small surprises, the more it relaxes because it realizes quietly that not all surprises are dangerous, that the world can be full of soft little sparks that are safe, enjoyable, and even soothing. And just imagining that for a moment, letting yourself drift through the thought of gentle, safe surprises can make your heartbeat slow a fraction, your shoulders drop another notch, and your mind float just a little further toward sleep. And there's a particular charm in how the brain processes sounds at night, soft tones that weave in and out like little threads, barely noticeable but tying together your attention, your emotions, your memory, and your imagination, creating a sense of continuity even when your thoughts wander off in half dreams. And psychologists say this is exactly why ambient sounds, quiet voices, the gentle hum of a fan, or even whispered stories can make sleep easier. They anchor your drifting mind, giving it something small to hold on to while letting the rest float freely. And thinking about it this way, you can almost feel your own mind doing this right now, weaving its threads from one thought to another, connecting one tiny memory to another in a soft, lazy pattern that doesn't demand conclusions, doesn't push you forward, just lets you exist inside the gentle flow of ideas and images. Each one a soft stepping stone into that dream-like, half-asleep state that feels like sinking into warm water or being cradled in a slow rocking chair under a golden sunset. And psychologists have found that even the act of listening, really letting sounds wash over you without analyzing them, can change how your brain balances alertness and relaxation, easing tension in your nervous system. And it's like your mind is saying, yeah, this is safe, this is gentle, this is calm, as the waves of thought start to spread thinner and slower, each ripple fading into the next. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to chase a single idea. You don't have to chase a single idea. You nush. And it's funny how even tiny details, almost invisible ones like a shift in light or a faint smell or a distant voice, can guide your mind in these gentle ways, subtly adjusting your sense of comfort and curiosity without you realizing, like a soft hand brushing the back of your mind, nudging it toward ease. And maybe you can feel that happening now, that soft, almost imperceptible settling of your thoughts, a letting go that doesn't require effort, only permission. And permission, as it turns out, is exactly what the mind needs sometimes. Permission to rest, permission to release control, permission to float in a quiet space where the loud demands of the day can't reach you. And psychologists say that giving yourself permission in this slow, deliberate way can actually change your brain chemistry, releasing gentle signals that whisper calm to your heart, your lungs, your muscles, and even your thoughts, letting everything melt a little further into a state of soft readiness for sleep. And while your mind drifts like this, half awake and half floating in imagined space, it's building the scaffolding for dreams, for those soft visualizations that emerge in sleep, for the emotional recalibration that helps you process the day, and that slow, effortless preparation is like tucking yourself into a warm bed, even before your body fully lays down. The mind already exploring the gentle contours of rest, crafting a soft map of safety, curiosity, and calm. And maybe right now you can feel that map forming, each thought a soft marker, each tiny memory a little landmark, guiding you deeper into the sweet zone between awareness and sleep. That hypnagogic drift that feels so tender because your mind knows it's safe to wander here, to float here, to stretch here, to just be here in the warm, gentle night where nothing is required except soft attention and quiet, letting everything else slip away. And that's the magic of this gentle, sleepy psychology. It doesn't fight your mind. It doesn't push you toward rest with effort or willpower. It invites you into a slow, deliberate surrender, where every little thought, every tiny sensation, every flicker of curiosity and memory becomes a stepping stone toward calm, toward stillness, toward the sweet embrace of sleep. And as you drift along, the room feels warmer, your chest softer, your head heavier, and your mind finally starts to sigh in relief. It's strange how sometimes your mind can wander without you even noticing, drifting into corners you didn't know existed, little nooks of memory and imagination that feel like tiny secret gardens tucked away behind familiar thoughts. And psychologists say this wandering isn't random. It's your brain quietly exploring, stitching together ideas, feelings, and experiences, letting them mingle in a soft, safe space that's entirely your own. And maybe right now, as you listen, you can feel your mind drifting along one of those quiet paths, gently, without urgency, like a slow walk in the park at dusk. And the most fascinating thing is how your attention can sharpen on some of the tiniest details when everything else fades, like noticing the soft hum of a fan, the whisper of a page turning, the subtle shift in air temperature across the room, and in those moments, your brain is alive in a calm, meditative way, soaking in sensory details without judgment, without expectation, just noticing, just feeling, and that soft awareness is enough to make your thoughts settle, your body relax, your heart slow, and your eyelids grow heavier. And sometimes you catch yourself remembering something that feels distant, almost unreachable, like a half-forgotten song or a fragment of a conversation from years ago. And the odd part is how real it feels, even if you can't recall the whole story. And psychologists call this the constructive nature of memory. It's not just about storing facts, it's about your mind gently filling in the gaps, letting you feel continuity, even if the details blur. And maybe right now, your mind is doing the same, softly filling in the quiet spaces between what you know and what you imagine, crafting a soft landscape that's safe, familiar, and calm. And there's a magic to rhythm, the little patterns that your brain can latch onto almost without thinking. The ticking of a clock, the cadence of a voice, the gentle rise and fall of your own breathing. And in those rhythms, your mind finds comfort, a subtle sense of order in the world, a signal that things are predictable enough to let go. And the gentle predictability allows the body to relax, muscles softening, heartbeats slowing, and thoughts settling into a gentle back and forth that's almost like a lullaby for your neurons. And speaking of neurons, it's fascinating how even small actions, things as simple as shifting your gaze, scratching an itch, or rolling your shoulders, can ripple through your nervous system, sending tiny messages that say, "I'm here, I'm okay, I'm safe," and the body responds in kind. A subtle lowering of stress, a hint of ease, a quiet whisper of comfort, as if the tiniest motion can remind you that the world is soft, steady, and predictable enough to rest within. And maybe you've noticed that when you let your mind drift, the ideas that come aren't always logical. They can be whimsical, odd, or even nonsensical. But that's exactly the point. The brain is free to play, to explore without consequence, to weave together memories, fantasies, sounds, smells, and feelings into something entirely new. And in that freedom, there's a profound relaxation, a sense of release, because your mind is allowed to wander without purpose, without demand, without expectation. And that gentle play can feel like sinking deeper into your pillow, letting your body follow the soft pull of gravity and your muscles. And curiosity, even the quiet kind, is a remarkable thing. It's not always loud or urgent. Sometimes it's the soft question at the edge of your thoughts, the gentle nudge that says, "What if?" or "Remember this." And it draws your mind forward without stress, without pressure, just soft intrigue, letting you float from one memory to another, from one imagined scenario to another, in a way that's calming and safe, a slow drift across a lake at twilight, where every ripple in the water feels gentle and soothing. And dreams themselves are just an extension of this wandering, a soft, safe rehearsal space for your mind, where emotions, experiences, and imagination blend in slow, fluid ways. And even before you fall fully asleep, your brain is practicing this art of dreaming, testing possibilities, exploring outcomes, building soft connections that prepare you for the real world in ways you hardly notice. And maybe tonight, as your eyes grow heavier, you're already starting to drift into that rehearsal. A quiet, comforting practice that feels like nothing at all and everything at once. And there's a rhythm to how thoughts come and go during this half-awake, half-asleep state, like clouds drifting across the sky, each one shifting shape, merging with another, dissolving softly, and your brain is following gently, without effort, learning how to let go, how to float, how to be still, how to rest. And that stillness isn't empty. It's full of soft awareness, gentle observation, and a kind of quiet wonder at the way your mind can be active, and kind of quiet wonder at the way your mind can be active and calm at though. And in these moments, it's easy to notice how your body feels, your hands resting lightly, your feet heavy, your shoulders soft, your jaw unclenched, your chest rising and falling in a slow, steady rhythm, your heartbeat whispering in your ears like a quiet drumbeat, a reminder that everything is okay, everything is safe, everything is soft, and you are allowed to let go, to drift, to float, to rest, as the mind and body quietly converse in a language older than words, older than conscious thought, a language of pure relaxation. And the most interesting part is how these quiet, gentle processes are happening entirely on their own. Your mind orchestrating a symphony of soft sensations, soft attention, soft imagination, and soft curiosity, without any effort from you, without any direction, simply letting the day dissolve, letting the body soften, letting the mind meander through its quiet gardens, one gentle thought at a time, until every edge feels smooth, every sensation gentle, every heartbeat soft, and the world itself seems to slow just enough to let sleep begin. And so, you float a little further, carried by the subtle rhythms of your thoughts, your imagination, and your body, into a space that's safe, calm, and quiet, where the edges of the day blur, and the gentle pull of sleep begins to take hold, a tender, comforting drift toward rest, where every breath, every sigh, every thought is a soft thread guiding you further into the warm embrace of night, ready to let your dreams begin. It's funny how sometimes your mind drifts to the tiniest things, the small moments that felt insignificant at the time but somehow linger, like the way sunlight fell across your desk that one afternoon, or the soft sound of rain tapping a window while you were half asleep. And the brain holds on to these little threads because they're soft, quiet, and comforting, like little anchors in a sea of thought. And maybe as you listen now, your mind is pulling on one of those threads, letting it unravel slowly, gently, like a ribbon curling in a breeze, until the edges of your day feel distant and unimportant, and only the soft rhythm of your thoughts remains. And our memories aren't always neat or tidy. They twist and stretch, folding back on themselves in ways that feel natural, even poetic, so that one thought can trigger another, then another, and suddenly you're walking through a hallway of your mind filled with faint echoes of laughter, smells you can't quite place, half-forgotten conversations, and the odd, comforting certainty that these little moments are yours alone, untouched by the rush of the outside world, soft and private, a slow parade of experiences that drifts past like clouds across a late afternoon sky. And while all of this is happening, your body is quietly relaxing in tandem, muscles unwinding, your jaw softening, your shoulders easing down, your hands resting easily, your chest moving with that gentle, unforced rhythm, like waves on a quiet lake. And it's amazing how the brain and body can communicate in this soft way, like an unspoken conversation where no words are needed, only presence, only awareness, only the subtle pull of calm, a gentle invitation to drift further into rest, without pressure, without hurry, without concern. And even the way your breathing works now is almost hypnotic, rising and falling softly, a quiet metronome for your mind, guiding each thought along without interference. And as your mind follows the rhythm, little flashes of insight appear, gentle reminders of things you love, small joys that float up like bubbles. But there's no urgency, no need to hold on to them, just the soft, passing warmth of a thought that fades naturally into the next, each one a soft pulse that blends seamlessly into the next, each one a soft pulse that blends seamlessly into blur in the most comforting way. And there's something incredible about how imagination works in this space, where the boundary between memory and fantasy softens, letting your mind wander into gentle what-ifs, quiet possibilities that feel safe, playful, almost like dipping your toes into a cool, calm stream, testing the water, letting your thoughts ripple outward and blend together until every ripple feels part of a larger current carrying you slowly, steadily, gently forward toward the edge of sleep, where reality and dreams start to whisper to each other in a language you barely notice. And the mind loves stories, even when they're tiny and fleeting. The way one small memory can turn into a soft narrative, complete with emotion, color, even a hint of sound, and you follow along not because you have to, but because it's comforting, warm, familiar, like a candle flickering in a quiet room, drawing your attention without demanding it, letting your thoughts relax into the rhythm of recollection, soft observation, and gentle wonder. And this wandering isn't empty. It's actually a sort of mental housekeeping, your brain sorting, filing, connecting, sometimes rearranging pieces of information you didn't even know it was holding onto, blending experience with imagination in ways that are gentle, subtle, and restorative, as if it knows that rest is coming, that sleep is near, and it's preparing quietly for the shift, smoothing edges, softening tensions, making everything feel easier, lighter, slower, so that your mind can finally release, settle, and drift. And curiosity plays a big role here too, the quiet kind that doesn't need to solve problems or make lists, just the soft nudge that says, I wonder what that feels like, or remember that. And it's okay to follow, to let your mind trace these gentle paths without judgment, because in this space, every turn is safe, every thought is temporary, and every flicker of memory or imagination is a soft light in the larger darkness, guiding you gently, gently, gently closer to the calm edge of sleep. And it's fascinating how even tiny sensory details, almost imperceptible ones, become anchors in this moment. The faint brush of fabric against your skin, the soft hum of a distant sound, the subtle taste lingering in your mouth from a sip of water earlier, all of them quietly telling your brain that the world is safe, steady, and slow, giving you permission to let go, to drift, to rest, to follow that gentle pull of ease that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. And sometimes, in this gentle drift, your mind notices the gaps, the spaces between thoughts, the soft, quiet pauses, and those are the moments that feel like the most freedom, because nothing is demanding attention, nothing is urgent, nothing is necessary. Only the soft, vast, open spaces where awareness can breathe, where the body can soften, and where sleep can slowly, gently start to take hold, like a soft tide rolling in, quiet and inevitable, carrying everything it touches toward calmness and rest. And it's in these spaces that creativity often blooms, not in the tension of trying, not in the rush of doing, but in the soft, gentle, unfocused meander, where your mind can make the smallest, gentlest connections between ideas, emotions, and memories, creating little sparks of insight that feel like whispers, not shouts, and even if you don't consciously notice them, they leave traces, soft footprints in your subconscious, guiding your thoughts toward balance, harmony, and a slow, pleasant release of tension. And the beauty of all this is how automatic it is. Your brain knows how to guide you here, even if you're not actively trying, even if your conscious mind is partially asleep or half distracted by the quiet room around you, because the mind is wonderfully, beautifully designed to wander, to play, to imagine, and to rest. And in that gentle wandering, the edge of sleep grows near. a soft, warm presence that wraps around the edges of your awareness and invites you to finally let go. And so, as you drift, each breath, each gentle thought, each tiny memory becomes part of a quiet, slow current that carries you further into softness, into calm, into the warm embrace of night, where the day's tension dissolves, where the mind and body sink in quiet rhythm, and where sleep, gentle, inevitable, and entirely natural, finally begins to bloom, carrying you away softly, gently, and completely. It's wild how sometimes your thoughts can feel like they have a life of their own, quietly drifting along little paths you didn't even know existed, and as you listen, you might notice a gentle curiosity stirring, the kind that doesn't demand answers, just wants to wander, to explore, to watch, as your mind traces the tiniest threads of memory, like soft sunlight catching dust motes in a still room, slowly, slowly floating, shimmering, disappearing, only to be replaced by another, equally soft, equally fleeting thought. And there's something comforting in that rhythm, the gentle ebb and flow of awareness that doesn't push, doesn't hurry, just lets you follow, one small, quiet step at a time. And even the little surprises of the mind, like remembering a laugh from long ago, or the way a smell instantly brings you back to a particular place, feel almost magical when you notice them in this slow, calm state, because they come unbidden, without effort, like gifts tucked into the corners of your consciousness, reminding you that life is stitched together from these tiny, luminous moments, moments that seem insignificant until you slow down and notice, until you let your brain linger on them, just long enough for their warmth to sink in, soft and gentle, like a sigh carried on a quiet evening breeze. And it's interesting how your senses weave into this quiet dance, the way a soft hum from outside, a faint flicker of light, or the subtle texture beneath your fingers can pull your awareness outward just a bit, grounding you in the present while letting your thoughts float freely, like little paper boats drifting on a calm stream, each one carrying a fragment of memory, a soft spark of imagination, or a gentle flicker of emotion, all moving slowly, deliberately, as if the world itself has softened, just for this moment, just for you. And while your mind drifts, it often notices patterns you didn't realize were there, small connections between things you'd thought were unrelated, like a song you heard last week suddenly blending with a conversation you had, or a scent reminding you of a dream you barely remember, and your brain quietly smiles at these little coincidences, storing them away with a soft, secret satisfaction, because it knows that even in the quiet, even in the stillness, it's still learning, still growing, still creating a subtle tapestry of understanding, one gentle thread at a time. And your body follows along, almost automatically settling deeper into the surface beneath you, each muscle softening, each joint releasing, every breath becoming slower, smoother, a quiet tide rising and falling, carrying your mind along with it, guiding you gently, step by step, toward the edge of sleep, where consciousness begins to blur, where time feels slower, where the constant buzz of thought softens into gentle murmurs, and where the mind can finally exhale, letting go of everything that isn't needed in this moment, holding only this soft, steady rhythm, this calm, steady drift. And even the act of noticing your own awareness becomes a kind of meditation, a gentle tug back from the wandering edges of thought, reminding you that you are here, that you exist, that your mind is alive and full of curiosity, wonder, and softness, and you can watch these currents move without judgment, without pressure, just soft observation, letting each thought, each memory, each tiny flicker of imagination pass naturally, like clouds sliding across a quiet sky, slow, steady, unhurried, each one leaving behind a faint glow that warms the mind without demanding anything in return. And sometimes your imagination will carry you to little mini scenes, soft vignettes where nothing is urgent, nothing is stressful, just small, cozy images that your mind stitches together from fragments of memory, fragments of curiosity, fragments of emotion, like sitting on a quiet porch at sunset, hearing a distant bird call, feeling the warmth of a mug in your hands, and your mind lingers there just long enough to feel the comfort, the softness, the ease before letting it drift away into another tiny scene, equally calm, equally gentle, equally gentle, equally gentian. And there's a magic in the way the mind can take these little sparks. Tiny sensory details, soft emotional cues, fleeting thoughts, and turn them into a slow, seamless flow of awareness where every turn feels natural, where every thought drifts without effort, without resistance, and you realize that even though your brain is constantly working, constantly connecting, constantly weaving, it can also be a place of peace, of gentle motion, of quiet wonder, if you simply let it be. If you simply follow its soft currents without interruption, without judgment, just the slow, calm acceptance of thought itself. And as this drift continues, you may notice a subtle blending of time and space, a soft stretching of the present moment, where seconds feel longer, where minutes feel like gentle waves rolling past, and your mind, your body, your very being seem to float along this slow current, fully alive, fully aware, yet relaxed in a way that's hard to describe. A kind of quiet harmony where the world outside fades, the mind inside softens, and sleep begins its gentle approach, soft as a whisper, steady as the tide, inevitable as the night. And the quiet creativity that lives in this space, the soft weaving of memory, imagination, and awareness, allows even the smallest thought to bloom, to expand, to ripple outward gently, without urgency, without tension, creating subtle insights, little flashes of understanding that drift past softly, leaving a faint glow that warms without startling, guiding without pushing, and allowing the mind to flow naturally, as it always has, toward that soft, inviting edge where consciousness becomes dream, and the body and mind finally rest completely, effortlessly, gently. And maybe you notice a gentle echo of your own voice in the mind, the quiet commentary of self-awareness, a soft narrative that doesn't demand, doesn't rush, just whispers, just floats, just observes. And in that observation, in that gentle noticing, the brain finds a rhythm, a calm beat, a slow, steady motion that guides you further into relaxation, further into softness, further into the welcoming arms of sleep, until all that remains is the gentle pulse of being alive, aware, calm, and drifting, carried forward by the quiet, steady, inevitable rhythm of night. And even as you listen to this now, as your mind and body follow along, you may notice a soft smile spreading without thought, a quiet relaxation in your chest, a gentle release in your jaw, all small, imperceptible signs that the body and mind are working together, softly, harmoniously, steadily, preparing you for the kind of deep, restorative sleep that feels like a slow, gentle hug from the universe, wrapping you up, carrying you along, letting every worry, every tension, every thought drift naturally into calm, into rest, into the quiet, soft night that waits patiently. It's kind of amazing how sometimes your brain feels like it has its own secret world, one that hums quietly beneath the surface of everyday life, full of tiny stories, hidden connections, little sparks of memory that flicker in and out without warning. And as you listen to that soft hum, you might notice a gentle curiosity taking hold, the kind that doesn't demand, doesn't push, just drifts along with your awareness, like a slow river carrying leaves, little thoughts, soft fragments of feeling, all moving steadily, quietly, almost imperceptibly, but with a rhythm that feels just right, like your own inner tide. And the things your mind notices in these quiet moments can be so small, yet so vivid, like the faint rustle of leaves outside your window, a soft hum from the refrigerator, or the gentle weight of your body against the bed. And each tiny detail nudges your awareness just a little, grounding you in the now, while letting your thoughts flow freely, without urgency, without pressure, letting them drift like soft clouds across a calm sky, each one carrying a whisper of memory, a fragment of imagination, or a gentle flicker of emotion that's both familiar and new, like rediscovering a song you forgot you loved. And there's this quiet magic in the way your mind layers experiences, like stacking translucent pieces of colored glass, each one contributing a subtle hue, a soft glow, so that when you close your eyes, you can almost see the warmth of a remembered smile, the gentle sound of laughter, the soft comfort of a favorite scent, all blending together into something that feels bigger than the moment, bigger than yourself, and yet gentle, unassuming, quietly holding you in a calm embrace that doesn't demand anything, doesn't rush, just exists, softly, naturally. And even the little quirks of memory become fascinating when you slow down, when you give your brain permission to wander and notice, like the way a certain song can trigger a cascade of images, or how a smell can transport you decades back to a single vivid moment, and your mind just floats there, following each thread wherever it leads, savoring the gentle surprise, the soft connection, without judgment, without expectation, just soft awareness, a slow, calm journey through the landscape of your own consciousness. And it's interesting how attention itself feels different when you're relaxed, how a soft focus lets you notice subtleties you'd normally overlook, like the way light flickers on a wall, a faint vibration under your feet, the quiet rhythm of your own breathing, each inhale and exhale, carrying you further into calm, further into ease, further into the gentle drift where thought and rest intertwine, until it feels like you're suspended in a warm, slow-moving current, and steady and safe, where the outside world fades and your inner world opens gently, slowly, without effort. And sometimes your imagination paints little vignettes that feel almost like dreams, soft, cozy, soothing, like walking through a quiet forest in the early morning, feeling the mist settle softly on your skin, hearing the distant call of a bird, smelling the earthy warmth of the soil, and your mind lingers there just long enough to feel the calm, the gentle ease, before drifting to the next vignette, equally serene, equally inviting, like a slow stroll through a gallery of gentle memories and imagined comforts, each one softening the edges of the day, each one coaxing your awareness into rest. And your senses become quiet companions in this drift, each one contributing without demanding, like a chorus of gentle whispers, the faint hum of the night air, the soft texture of fabric beneath your fingertips, the subtle taste lingering from a warm drink, the whisper of your own breath in your ears, all merging into a subtle symphony that doesn't push, doesn't hurry, just carries you gently along the path of awareness toward calm, toward stillness, toward that place where the mind and body can finally sink into deep, restorative sleep. And there's this fascinating rhythm to the mind in these moments, a soft interplay between memory, imagination, and awareness, where every thought drifts without effort, where every flicker of recollection or tiny spark of creativity feels slow, deliberate, natural, like a slow dance that your brain knows by heart. A gentle waltz where each step is soft, each movement fluid, each pause deliberate, giving you time to notice, to breathe, to relax, to float along with the quiet motion of consciousness itself. And even your body joins this quiet symphony, softening in ways you might not even realize. Your shoulders release a little, your jaw loosens, your fingertips relax, Your chest rises and falls with a calm, steady rhythm, each breath carrying a whisper of ease, of softness, of slow comfort, until the gentle harmony of mind and body guides you toward the edge of sleep, where the day's worries melt like morning mist, where the day's worries melt like morning mist, where the mind can wander freely, softly, gently, without strain, without hurry, carried by the quiet, steady current of the night. And sometimes, in this state, you notice thoughts that feel almost like little gifts, a soft memory, a subtle insight, a gentle spark of creativity, appearing without warning, without demand, drifting past like fireflies in the dark, each one illuminating a tiny corner of awareness before floating on. And your mind watches them softly, enjoying the gentle dance, the slow, calming rhythm, knowing that you don't need to catch them, you don't need to analyze them, you just get to notice, softly, gently, with a quiet appreciation for the beauty of thought in its natural state. And it's remarkable how even tiny, almost imperceptible movements, an eyelid flicker, a subtle shift in posture, a small sigh can become part of the gentle orchestra of rest, each one a tiny reminder that your body is aligning with your mind, softly, slowly, preparing for deep, peaceful sleep, carrying every fragment of thought, every whisper of memory, every flicker of awareness gently into the night, until you feel cradled by calm, embraced by quiet, and moving effortlessly toward the soft edge where consciousness blurs, where dreams begin, where rest takes over completely. And maybe you notice a gentle sense of curiosity lingering even here, soft and unpressured, inviting you to explore the subtle sensations, the tiny images, the quiet echoes of memory and imagination, all moving in gentle rhythm, all carrying you softly deeper into calm, into ease, into that tender, slow-moving current that guides you naturally toward sleep, where every thought is allowed to float, every memory to drift, every breath to soften, until the mind and body are perfectly aligned in quiet harmony, ready to rest fully, completely, effortlessly, gently. And now, as you settle a little deeper into your bed, you might notice the softness of your blankets, the gentle weight of your body pressing down, and the quiet hum of your own breathing, slow and steady, like a calm river flowing quietly through a peaceful valley. And with each inhale, you feel a little lighter, and with each exhale, a little tension drifts away, floating off softly, disappearing like a feather carried by a gentle breeze. And it's okay to just notice that, to just let it happen. No need to rush, no need to do anything, just be here, softly, gently, in this moment. And as your body relaxes more and more, your mind begins to wander in its own gentle way, like clouds drifting across a quiet sky, soft shapes forming, dissolving, shifting without effort, carrying memories, ideas, little flickers of imagination, each one soft, unhurried, like tiny lanterns floating in a darkened room, warm, calm, welcoming. And you can just watch them, softly, without trying to control them, letting them drift past, carrying you along in their slow, peaceful rhythm. And you might notice that even the simplest things become fascinating now. The subtle hum of your environment, the soft brushing of fabric against skin, the gentle rhythm of your own heart, all blending together into a quiet, calming symphony, one that feels familiar and safe, like coming home after a long journey, like sinking into a warm bath of gentle awareness, where nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be done, everything can just be softly, slowly, peacefully. And in this state you might find your thoughts turning to small, comforting memories. The smell of morning coffee, a warm laugh shared with a friend, the gentle patter of rain against a window, the soft glow of sunlight on your skin. And each memory carries a little warmth, a little ease, a little smile tucked quietly inside, like tiny treasures you can carry gently in your mind. soft little gifts for you to hold as your body and mind, soft little gifts for you to hold as your body and mind sink ever deeper into calm. And it's interesting how your imagination begins to drift in ways that feel effortless, like walking down a quiet forest path, leaves rustling softly underfoot, sunlight filtering through branches, a gentle breeze brushing your skin, and every detail is soft, comforting, slow, nothing sharp, nothing urgent, just the gentle unfolding of a peaceful scene that carries you quietly toward rest, toward calm, toward that space where consciousness begins to blur, and sleep feels like the natural, soft next step. And even your breathing joins in this quiet journey, slow and steady, in and out, like waves rolling gently on a calm shore, each inhale carrying a soft, cool energy, each exhale releasing warmth, tension, and any lingering thoughts that no longer serve you, letting them drift away quietly, like clouds dissolving into a twilight sky, leaving space for softness, space for ease, space for the gentle slide into sleep that you've been moving toward all along, softly, calmly, without effort. And as your mind continues to drift, it's easy to notice that all the little stories, the flickers of memory, the soft sparks of imagination begin to fade into a gentle background hum, like a distant melody you can barely hear but feel, soft and comforting, wrapping around your awareness like a warm, slow-moving current, carrying every part of you, body, mind, thought, and feeling, toward that quiet, perfect edge where sleep begins, where dreams are waiting, gentle and welcoming. And sometimes, in this state, you might notice a few tiny thoughts trying to peek back in, little worries, small questions, flashes of memory. But each one passes gently, softly, like leaves floating down a slow stream, unhurried, no need to chase them, no need to hold on to them, just letting them drift by while you sink ever deeper, ever slower into the calm, quiet space that's all yours, soft, safe, and steady. And now your body feels heavier in the best way, like sinking into a warm cloud, every muscle relaxed, every joint soft, every breath carrying you further into ease, into quiet, into that tender, slow-moving space where consciousness begins to loosen, where thoughts gently untangle, where the day's noise fades into a soft background hum, and it's perfectly fine to just let go, to let the gentle current carry you fully, completely, effortlessly toward sleep. And maybe you notice that even your imagination has quieted, now like a calm pond at dusk, small ripples fading, reflections smooth, colors soft, shadows gentle, the world inside your mind, serene, calm, welcoming, ready for rest, ready for dreams, ready to carry you through the night on a gentle tide of relaxation and ease. And as you feel yourself floating slowly, gently, you realize that everything is soft. Everything is soft. Everything is quiet. Everything is just right. And with each passing second, your awareness drifts further from the busy world, further from effort, further from anything demanding, as your mind and body melt into calm, into rest, into that perfect, weightless, slow-moving state where sleep takes over naturally, like a river finding the ocean, like a cloud drifting across a quiet sky, like the last flicker of candlelight fading into night, soft, steady, peaceful. And now, in this moment, with the day behind you and the night embracing you, with the gentle rhythm of your breath and the quiet flow of thought carrying you ever deeper, you can feel the edge of sleep approaching, tender, soft, inviting, and it's okay to let yourself fall, to let yourself drift, to let yourself float into the quiet, dream-filled, peaceful space that's been waiting for you all along, slow, gentle, safe, serene, and completely, utterly restful. Good night.